the beginning of a new era.
An era that will delve even deeper into the local news analysis.
An era that will bridge gaps and henceforth annihilate international barriers.
An era that shall leave no stone unturned.
We are taking Tanzania to the world.
Catch us live from Monday to Friday from 10 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. only on TBC1.
A very warm welcome to TBC News Bulletin, which will be covering all the latest local, international and sports news every weekday from 10 p.m. And first are the headlines tonight. TBC News with African Perspective. Clean energy uses to increase by 80% by 2032. Good evening. I am Agnes Tuniga, and you're mostly welcome to TBC News Bulletin. You can also follow us live via our YouTube channel, TBConline, and also get all the latest news through our Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter pages at TBConline. The Tanzania Broadcasting Corporation, TBC, has launched an English news bulletin which aims to tell stories from an African perspective. The Director General of TBC, Dr. Ayub Rioba, says it's important for TBC as a public entity to communicate internationally about its local issues.
It should be noted that TBC has a history of addressing international audiences. You remember that we had external service of Radio Tanzania, which was there specifically to help address foreign audiences about news, not only of about what was happening in Tanzania, but what was happening in those countries. And it has always been important for this media outfit, the national broadcaster, to address international audiences. From our own perspective, we have an obligation as Africans to project ourselves the way we perceive whatever happens around us as Africans. So we did have that bulletin, English bulletin, and for some reason, of course, it is stopped. But now we think it's important. We as TBC, a national broadcaster, it is important to have a bulletin in a language where we can address other international audiences. And we wish we could actually have a bulletin in French, a bulletin in Germany, a bulletin in Chinese. We wish we could do that. And probably in future, where we are going, we will probably have bulletins in international languages.
We are now crossing over to Dodoma. We are now live with Nape Nnauye, the Minister of Information, Communication and Information Technology, to get his reaction on our English News Bulletin. Honorable Minister, please welcome to our News Bulletin tonight.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much.
My first question to you, Honorable Minister, says that why do you think English News Bulletin is crucial at this point of time?
First of all, it's an exciting moment for me, but for TBC and for our government, that at last TBC taking us there again, contributing to the efforts made by Her Excellency Samia Suluhu Hassan and the government and her government to reconnect the country and Tanzania to the world. It is very important to have this bulletin because, as you all know, that with the efforts made by government led by our presidents to reopen the country, we have so many people who have come to our country. Some of them are investors, diplomats, the tourists coming to our country, and might be some of them, Swahili is not their first language. So we want to make them comfortable to be able to follow the current affairs of the country, to be comfortable with their own language. So to us and to the ministry and the government, this is an exciting moment, and congratulations to TBC for this, making this happen. It started like a dream, but today it is happening. I'm really very happy to see that it is happening. As we all know, bulletins like this, we know that you take the news from the authentic sources, and this will help those who are using English as their first language to get information and help them to do rational decisions from the information they are getting from this public entity, public broadcasting in the country.
So, Minister, but to go to my second question,
to congratulate TBC, and we are hoping to have more viewers and enjoy the bulletin.
Mm-hmm. In your own perspective, Honorable Minister, for my last question to you is that, what do you think is really going to improve on Tanzania economic diplomacy and international relations, to be specific?
As I said before, Her Excellency the President has done a really good job to promote the economic diplomacy that has attracted a lot of investors to come and invest in our country. And some of these investors, as I said, Swahili is not their first language. So here and there they are using their own language. Maybe on the way of trying to learn Swahili, they need to be comfortable, but they need to follow the affairs of the country, the local affairs that are happening in the country, investment opportunities, but they need to follow up what is happening in the country. So it is going to make them comfortable, be informed, make them do their decisions while they are informed with the language that they can better understand. But we all know with the Tanzanian Royal Tour, we have so many tourists coming to our country, and I'm sure they will be happy to follow up the affairs in the country using the language that they can better understand.
Honorable Minister,
but I'm sure,
thank you so much.
We have the diplomats in the country.
Honorable Minister, thank you so much for your time.
There will be. Thank you. I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. It is a pleasure talking to you tonight.
Thank you.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan has instructed to expedite the process of the establishment of task force, which may be composed of the government, development stakeholders, and private sector to prepare a single plan strategy to have clean and sustainable energy. The move aims at helping the country achieve its goal of increasing the number of clean energy users by 80% in 2032 from 5% as of now. Here's the report by Rehema Sebabili.
Statistics show that 72% of all energy produced in Tanzania is used in homes, and that energy contributes to almost 90% of all energy used in households. Health challenges resulting from the use of that cooking energy are raising this national debate, and here President Samia Suluhu Hassan gives instruction to enable Tanzanians to use clean and sustainable energy at low costs.
This workforce will come up with a strategic plan for the government, private sector, and other development stakeholders to have a common plan that will lead to the implementation and search for permanent solution to clean cooking energy, as we may come up with a clean energy but not sustainable.
We have received all your instructions making sure that Tanzanians' lives become even better through the using of clean energy for cooking. No more cooking with tears.
President Samia used the platform to address on the water crisis in Dar es Salaam.
You have said it well, but I want the Prime Minister to go and confirm what you have said. The instruction that I gave to have water supply connection from Kigamboni to Dar es Salaam, of which I've already given the funds, I want to see 70 million liters of water supply in Dar es Salaam to ease the level of water rationing in the city.
Tonight, we will fill 12 water dams, of which you already granted 23 billion for their constructions. 70 million liters of water will enter into the city to ease the level of water rationing.
Speaking during the meeting, the ambassador of European Union to Tanzania, Manfredo Fanti, said in collaboration with the Ministry of Energy, have developed a feasible program to support the government in undertaking numerous initiatives aimed at reducing the use of biomass, whereby Euro 30 million have been contributed to facilitate the program.
To provide financial and technical assistance to support the accelerated market rollout of clean cooking solutions such as LPG, ethanol, briquette, etc., leading to improved environment, but also to jobs and business opportunity along the different value chains.
A lot of people have got cylinders, but a number of them also, they are not using the cylinders. So we hope with the education, because gas is cheap, even now people are complaining about the high cost of gas, but it's still cheaper. If you are using charcoal, as of now, in a family of 6 people, you need a sack of almost 90 kilo, 80 to 90 kilo, which costs you not less than 50,000 shillings, and you need 1.5 sack. So that takes you to 75,000 shillings.
And the electrical pressure cooker would use the normal electrical supply. So we believe in using the existing technologies or existing energy, but just making sure we do it efficiently to reduce the impacts.
Tanzania is one of the lowest rating countries in the world on the use of clean energy for cooking, estimated to be between 4 to 5%, while the government goal is to increase the number to 80% in the next 10 years. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Rehema Sebabili, TBC News.
President Samia Suluhu Hassan has announced that Tanzanian population is more than 61.7 million. This is according to the National Population and Housing Census of 2022. While launching the report in Dodoma, President Samia said 59.8 million people are from the mainland and 1.8 million are from Zanzibar. Gloria Michael has more reports on that.
The new census figures show that women outnumber men. Inaugurating the report in Dodoma, capital of Tanzania, yesterday, President of the United Republic of Tanzania, Samia Suluhu Hassan, said that women number is higher than that of men, whereby, in percentage-wise, total women in Tanzania accounts for 51% of the whole population, while men account for 49% of the whole population. However, Dar es Salaam has the highest number of people, accounting to 80% of the country's total population. Tanzania has a total number of 14.3 million households, out of which mainland Tanzania has 13.9 million households, while Zanzibar have 440,421 households. Reporting from Dar es Salaam, Gloria Michael, TBC.
Thank you very much, Gloria Michael, for that excellent report on Census Report. In the studios, I'm joined by Ivan Tarimo, the economist. My guest, please welcome to the studio, and thank you very much for being part of the history, the greatest history here on TBC tonight.
Yeah, thank you very much for inviting me for this occasion.
Thank you very much. What is your economic perspective to the just tabled census report?
Okay, again, exciting time as well in terms of that census report that was read yesterday by Madam President. And of course, top of the mind is how many are we in terms of that number, 61.17 million. Of course, that is the number of people who are within the borders of Tanzania. So it's not just the number of Tanzanians, because it includes people transiting in and out, but broadly speaking, it's the number of people who are within our borders at the time of the census. And then you can see that it's a significant increase from what it was in the previous census about 10 years ago in 2012, and around a 3.2% annual increment, but an increment of around 19 million, which is also significant. So it can only make you think 10 years from now, we'll probably have an increase of another at least 19 million people. What does that mean in terms of production, food, water, power, etc., etc.? So it has big consequences, and it tells us a lot of things about what we need to do as a nation to plan.
Okay, now it's stated here that the early reports on all the results on census shows that women outnumber men economically. What does this represent?
I guess for all men out there, we always suspect we're probably outnumbered by women. So this census has confirmed it. There's at least 1.7, 1.8 million more women than men. So I think perhaps this may not come as a surprise, but it's a statistic that has maintained the ratio. I think this has been the ratio even in previous census, that the women have been slightly more than the men. But of course, it speaks also to the broader economic issues around empowering women, especially youth as well, in terms of economic opportunities, in terms of them having their voice, in terms of some of the things that are happening throughout the economy, allocation of resources, etc. So this is a significant part of our force, significant part of labor force, etc. The women raise children and they run businesses, etc. So it just means it's not a small demographic. So women are important, just as the men are. And now we know for sure that we have more women than men.
Rural-urban migration. Why do you think most people migrate to Dar es Salaam?
Well, actually, this census is almost trying to tell us there's a slight change in that rural-urban mix. I mean, if you could see the rate of growth of the population in some of the regions, Dar es Salaam population during this time grew by only 2.1%. It's one of the lower ones. 10 years ago, it was growing by 5.6%. The higher growth rates are being seen in areas such as Katavi, in other regions, Dodoma, etc., and the lowest being in Kilimanjaro. So those areas, I think Dar es Salaam is still the most populous, but if you look at the growth of the population in Dar es Salaam at the time of the census, as compared to previous years, it slightly shows a smaller growth. But if you look at areas like coastal region and the increase they've had of almost from 1.1 to 2.1 or 2 million people, so there's been some huge growth in other regions. So perhaps it's economic opportunities, perhaps it's industries, perhaps it's the government migration to Dodoma that have played a part in how people are now being displaced in search of economic opportunities and livelihoods.
The epicenter of census is population, of course. We talk about population. But looking at the country of Tanzania, which has just recently finalized its census, and now the report has been tabled, we also, when I was going through the report, I see also this issue of there's a new rising star in population number that is Tabora, the third most populated region. What is the implication?
Absolutely. So I think the top 5 regions, Dar es Salaam, Mwanza, Tabora, Morogoro, Dodoma. So I think the number will always speak to a certain pull factor. There's a factor that is pulling people into that region. And normally that tends to be number 1, economic livelihoods. People are moving, migrating from one region to another in search of economic opportunity, in search of jobs. We know a significant portion of Tanzanians are employed in agriculture. It's quite a big region, so there may be quite a lot of agriculture activity happening there. Certainly we know there's a lot of beekeeping and other agriculture activities happening in Tabora. So I think it shows us there's something happening in that region.
Yes, Ivan, your reasons are very precise, but why Tabora?
I think Tabora has several factors that have coincided at the same time that give it the upper hand. One, I said the economic livelihood in terms of opportunities, certainly around agriculture and things like that. We know there are cash crops there like tobacco, etc., and a lot of that happens there. We know there is a railway that passes there. We know that it does have proximity and good proximity to other regions which are quite active. Again, the fertile lines, etc. So I think the premise centrally would be around economic opportunities.
Ivan, thank you very much for your time. It has been a pleasure talking to you, and thank you very much once again for being part of this greatest history.
Thank you. Happy to see the bulletin back. Thank you.
Thank you. Asante-san. Nature never stops to amaze us with never-ending surprises, just like the way human beings differ. It's the same with wild animals that the country of Tanzania is blessed to have. Recent pictures taken in Serengeti National Park shows 2 types of animals who are melanated than normal. Margaret Jedi has more details.
Zebras are graceful animals and usually have black and white stripes. In the Ndutu Plains of South Serengeti is where the unique zebra was born. Tira is a polka-dotted zebra, and what makes it stand out is the pattern of the skin, which is blacker with tiny spots which looks like polka dots. According to conservationists, Tira has a rare genetic mutation called pseudomelanism that causes abnormality in stripes patterns. This unique zebra has been a sensational attraction to many of the tourists visiting the park, also to photographers who love to capture images of this unique creature. In these endless plains, other rare species coexist with the normal ones. Serval cat is a small cat found in these plains, and usually the skin of a serval has dark spots. Manja is a very unique serval in the Namiri Plains of Serengeti with deep black skin, something that is extremely rare in the world. This beautiful cat has been an attraction to many who are lucky to spot it in the wild. Melanism is a unique trait carried by a recessive gene that causes excess production of the dark-colored pigment in the skin, feathers, and hair. This recessive gene causes the serval's usually golden brown spotted coat to become completely black. Recent pictures shows that Manja has found a partner, and together they have produced most 2 beautiful melanated kittens. Manja and his family are living happily in the plains of Serengeti. Margaret Jedi, TBC.
Thank you very much, Margaret Jedi, for that report. As I've stated earlier, that this is the greatest history in the making here at TBC once again. And of course, to signify our news beginning, TBC English News team will cut a cake and pop champagne to celebrate the launch. My colleagues, please welcome to the stage. Let's all gather. Thank you, Margaret. Okay, may I leave the floor to the only man?
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, definitely.
Well, today it's a very happy day. It's historic, actually, to TBC. And as you said earlier, our viewers should get ready to be informed to follow the local, international, and sports news from tomorrow onwards from 10 p.m. And this is a tip.
Thank you, thank you.
Bravo. The champagne.
Rose, please help us with the champagne.
The honor is mine.
Wow, thank you.
I hope I won't drink anything.
You won't.
How do you all guys feel?
We feel excited.
We're excited.
Excited, yeah?
elated.
I like that spirit.
Yes.
And we are very ready.
Wow. Rose, don't forget me with the glass.
Don't forget to give our host the glass. The madam. Yeah,
The
she
madam.
should be served first.
Thank you.
Thank you.
This is the beginning of a new era.
An era.
Please help me.
Okay, ready for cheers, guys? For the health of TBC, for the health of TBC, for the health of TBC. Cheers.
Cheers.
Take a sip.
Excellent.
Nice, nice. And that marks the end of the news bulletin for tonight. But before we close down, we have to cut a cake.
The main star.
Rose again.
Yeah. Oh, no,
Please.
I think the only man in the room.
Yes.
Should do that. Yes.
Privilege given to him. Yeah.
Here you go. There you go.
But the census report has stated women are in higher numbers, yes. So. You're Africans. Well, dear viewers, we mark with that note that we thank you very much once again for you, dear viewers, for being part of this team by making history together with us. I thank you very much for being part of the history, and good night. My name is Agnes Tuniga.